Hey guys, it's 1876 here, and today I'm presenting my Bedwars Mechanics video. So I have a thing set up here to show you guys mechanics of Bedwars, how to just do things more efficiently, and yeah, that should be about it. Let's get straight into it. So first thing, speed bridging. Pretty obvious. Lots of tutorials out there, but you should definitely learn it. The idea behind it is that you place a block, you unshift, you move across the majority of the block without shift, and then you shift at the end of the block again. So faster it looks like this. And if you get good at it, you can get quite fast with it. I'd say don't learn any of the weird other bridging techniques out there because this is way more consistent. So yeah, lots of tutorials out there. Just get good at it. Another thing you should also learn is staircasing. Get pretty fast at that too. So yeah, pretty important, pretty basic. Let's just move on. Okay, second thing, side running. So this, I don't see a lot of people teaching this, but I see this as pretty important. Let's say over there is your opponent's base, right? You have to go right past their little wall that they built, say because they'll be right up there. And some beginners like to build straight up, jump straight down as soon as you pass them, because how you would usually go about doing this is you would build up to where this pillar was, or if he was even higher, you'd have to build even higher up. So the thing to combat this to learn is side running. Basically how you do this is you strafe using the A and D keys or the W and D keys, and you go right past on the side of it. This is really important because you can just go super fast around anything. So beginners don't even have time to catch you if they're just building straight up, dropping straight down, right? It's a lot faster, and I suggest you learning it because it is extremely helpful. You don't know how many times, even if there's like a final kill over there, right? They're running past this. Now you don't even have to go up. You can just go around and then you'll have a better time catching them. So this side running technique, which I don't see being talked about a lot, is super important to learn. The thing I suggest is you can go practice this in a duel called bridge duels. Okay, moving on to ladder clutching. This is a really important skill because it helps you take absolutely no fall damage. Say I'm going up here, the ladder, right? I only have 2 hearts, and I jump, and then I die. But ladders completely mitigate all fall damage. Say I'm 300 blocks in the air, and I land the ladder clutch. You're going to take absolutely no fall damage. So the thing here is, you place a ladder, and then you land on it. And the mistake I see many people making is, if you get too close to the wall, you can't actually place the ladder. You have to be just far away from the wall that you can place the ladder. And the other problem I see is you can't land on the top of the ladder. I don't know if you can see, but there's this little hitbox outline that you can see. And if you land on this top part, you aren't going to be able to mitigate fall damage because it's just going to be like falling on this block. You have to fall on this side part where you can climb up. So to do that, you have to position yourself so you're just far away from the block that you can place it, but you can still land on the ladder like that. And if you have a hard time doing this, instead of placing it on the top block, you can try placing it on the bottom. And the thing is, if I'm aiming at this block here that's like adjacent to that one, I can actually place it on this block and then it immediately places on that one. You don't have to place it on exactly this block. So it seems kind of counterintuitive that instead of placing it there, you would place it there. So then, because of that, you can just imagine it's a water bucket, right? But it's harder than a water bucket because you can do things like that. You can land on that top part. I don't know if you saw, but I just took fall damage there. So you have to position yourself just right so that you don't take any damage. And you can aim at that block right there. Let's put it into an example where I use this. Say you're above someone's base, and this is someone's bed defense, right? You're above their bed and you have 5 hearts, you can't really do much. And you have ladders. Then these ladders, you can actually clutch on this, and then you can immediately break their bed. And they won't expect you to have so much health because you would be all the way up here. And say if I didn't use any ladders, I'd be at maybe 4 hearts, 5 hearts. I took 4 hearts of fall damage, and they could take advantage of that. But if you have ladders, you don't have to take fall damage, and you're much more likely to survive the fight and break the bed. So that's ladder clutching. Gator is really good at it. You should go have a look at his tutorial. I'll leave a link to a video that helped me learn ladder clutching. But yeah, this is more of an advanced skill. So the next thing is diagonal sprinting. So this is more of a basic skill, and you actually need some aspects of diagonal sprinting to accomplish side running, which I talked about earlier. So I probably should have put this at the beginning, but if you're still here, diagonal sprinting is super important because, first of all, on bridge fights, if you look this way and swing and they go onto your cursor, they will actually go to the side. So there's a thing called bridge fighting. Again, if you want to improve at bridge fighting, you can always just play bridge duels. But an important thing here is on a bridge, when you're fighting, you can lean to the side and actually hit people off the bridge instead of just straight lining them forward, which is just going to hit them on the bridge but potentially deal more damage. So in a bridge fight, it's always more important to do more knockback than do more damage. Another thing that diagonal sprinting is helpful with is going in a 5, you can check who's around. So I've gotten pretty good at diagonal sprinting. You just have to find that angle with your cursor. It's exactly about 45 degrees, as you can see here. And you just have to find that angle where you can sprint on. It lets you go forward. So a good thing, if you've got it, is you can switch seamlessly between the two. But yeah, this is super helpful. So let me show you an example where, say, you could use diagonal sprinting to PvP on a bridge. Let's say there's a person coming at you, right? You can, actually let me get some zombies for this. So a thing here is, if you find that perfect angle for diagonal sprinting, right? You can hit them off like this. And that, as you can see, the zombie actually moved that way. And if you hit it like that, well, okay, that wasn't a great example. If you hit him like that, they'll actually go off the other way. So you can, hello? Okay, you can place a block, stop his sprint, and then hit him off the side so that he actually takes knockback, because that would be the void and they'd be dead right away. Yeah, okay, I have to change to peaceful before things get out of hand. That's going to be all of the movement stuff. The rest are inventory tricks that I'm teaching. And this is pretty important, so you should listen up. So I talked about my hotkeys, right? So a quick thing you can do with hotkeys is that, say my first hotkey for hotbar slot 1 is F. If I'm pressing F, it will send me from any slot to the first slot that I have. That's what hotkeys are. But a thing that many people don't know about hotkeys is that if you actually press on an item, it will send that to your hotbar. Let's say I want to send this axe to my 4th slot, and my 4th slot is actually 4. So if I press 4 and keep my cursor on the axe, it sends that to your hotbar immediately. And this is better because, let's say things are out of order on your things, right? On your hotbar, usually I like to have my blocks in slot 8. I like to have my gapples in slot 2. I like to have my pickaxe in slot 3, and so on. I like to have my utility stuff in slot 5. But let's say it's all scrambled up, right? This hotkey thing can quickly send things to the right slot. And I'm not even using my cursor. And I just kept my entire cursor here the whole time. So hotkeys can actually be super helpful for setting up your hotbar. Again, I'll do that again. So I press F here to send this to slot 1. This axe, I like to go in slot 4, so I press 4. And then ladders, I like to go in slot 6, so I press X, which is my hotkey for 6. And I recommend this because it's a lot faster than, say, switching it around with your mouse. So if I was switching it with the mouse, I'd have to go here, 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 here. And it's a lot faster just to press keyboards. And one more thing is, if you have your thing on an empty slot and you press, so let's say I press F, which is my first key, it actually sends whatever is in here to here. So basically what pressing a hotkey in this chest menu or any menu, for example, it switches the 2 spaces between what you're pressing and the hotkey slot you're pressing. So if I wanted to send this to here really fast, I could send it here and then send it here. I don't know if that makes any sense, but you can send it to your hotbar, and then it's basically swapping of positions. You swap positions with this slot and this slot, and then after that you swap positions with this slot and this slot. So then you can send here. this is how, say I have a few pieces of wood, right? Just digging it off the floor. But this is how people do fast crafting. Say I have my wood in here, right? I pick it up and put it in this slot, and then I put it in this slot. And now I can pick this up immediately and start crafting with that. So that's how people get really fast at crafting items in here or anywhere. This works in any menu, really, because I can send this here and then I can send this here. So I can really do anything with it. The hotkeys are extremely important to learn. Also, another tip I have is get familiar with your hotbar. Like, have a thing for where everything's supposed to go. So I already repeated this, but I like to have my sword in slot 1, gapples in slot 2, tools in slot 3 and 4, utility stuff, so fireballs in Bedwars and ender pearls for clutching, and I have a second utility slot, and then I have a secondary weapon. My fishing rod could go here if I was PvPing, and my block slot, and then my third tool. So always have things organized in your hotbar. So my trick to learning hotkeys is actually get a mouse that, like, the scroll wheel is broken, because that's how I learned my hotkeys. Like how fast you should be at it. You should be as fast so that you can basically scroll through your hotbar without using a scroll wheel. So this is me using a scroll wheel, and this would be me rushing through all my hotbar slots using all my keys. So you should get good enough to use your hotkeys like that, so that you can have hotkey for every slot. I really need to rub this in because hotkeys are super important if you want to be efficient in using anything. Okay, last thing. This is what I call fast chesting. I actually learned this from Sammy Green, who does it all the time. It's where I first noticed and took any concentration into how fast he puts things in the chest. He can literally open the chest and then close it within 2 seconds while putting all his resources in there. So how he actually does this is it's using all the hotkey methods I taught. Basically what he does is he opens the chest, he puts his mouse on any slot within your inventory, or even you can just put your slot in here and it'd be the ender chest. Because if I just directly did it like that, then that'd be in the ender chest and I could leave. But it's much easier if you go like this. You press F, which swaps this slot and this slot, and then you click with your mouse. So if I was to send the rest of these super fast into my ender chest, it would look like that. Basically what I'm doing is I'm pressing the hotkey for this slot. So the hotkey for slot 1, again, is F, right? So I press F, which swaps this slot and this slot. So the slot my mouse is in and the slot that the hotkey is assigned to. And then I press. So if you have a bunch of resources like I do here, then I can just, I don't know if you can hear my mouse. You can just jitter your mouse, and then you can press 2, and it goes directly in, almost instantly. So my hotkey for slot 3 is 3. And then I can click, and then press 3, which sends it directly in, and then press 4, which is my hotkey for 4. So this way, you can actually, like, fast chest almost anything. Give you some more realistic numbers. Let's say, it was in my gen, and then I have a bit of leftover iron that I just want to save for later. I can just go like this, and boom, it's in my chest. So yeah, fast chesting is super important if you want to get good and efficient at the game.